Hey, I'm Molly Dellinger Ray from the Partnership for People with Disability, and I'm here with Flip Gray, and we're here to talk to you today about the donut principles, one of the foundations of person-centered thinking and positive behavior support. I can't move forward without thanking the learning community for person-centered practices who brought the donut to my attention, and also Wendy Strickland, who helped do this presentation live for families in a parent workshop some time ago. We're looking at a picture here of Charles Handy, who wrote a book about the donut principle, with the donut principle in it, called The Age of Paradox. And it was a business book. It wasn't intended for families or for people with disabilities specifically at all. It was intended as part of a business model. So thanks, Charles Handy. So how the donut tool helps, and we'll get into the specifics about it later, but it's a way to think about situations and the responsibilities, that's kind of what's our job in those situations, to figure out where we should focus our efforts and what is just outside of our control. It also helps clarify our roles, encourage independence, and relieve frustration when things just don't go as we've planned. It just kind of helps center us a little bit. So the donut, and this is our donut, okay? And you can diagram your donut in many ways. I personally like the donut, the way that it looks right here. So in the center is our core responsibilities, okay? This is what is non-negotiable. It is 100% within our responsibility, and it must be done without any flexibility. It is, one of those things when I talk to people who provide direct support, I say, this is like the kind of thing you'd be fired if you didn't do. Giving people their medication, keep putting a seatbelt on, those kinds of health and safety kinds of things. In the middle here, we've got things that you can use judgment and creativity for. And we see a lot of this in positive behavior support because we have to come up with a lot of tricks to be able to do what we need to do in our core responsibility and get the job done with people who might just be saying, I don't want to do it. So this is where we figure out, like, where is the wiggle room? Okay, and what is our best judgment to get this done? And what kinds of things can we influence people to make this happen in a way that's easy and maybe fun for everybody, so that it's not an ongoing battle? And then outside of the donut is things that are just not our responsibility. They're things that are just beyond our control, things that we can't make happen for another person. And as much as we'd like to, and we feel like we should, and we're bad if we don't address it, as parents, we just can't do that. One of the issues that I've been noticing, and I've been thinking about the donut a lot, is for anybody who is on the website and gets the email feeds from Nextdoor. I get email feeds, probably too many a day, from the Nextdoor app because I live in an urban area. And I see complaints over and over and over again on the Nextdoor app about saying, I was out walking today and I passed a couple and neither one of them were wearing a mask. And everybody needs to be wearing masks, and this really frustrates me. And then someone else will chime in and say, yeah, I was at Target and nobody had a mask on, and that really bothered me. And so this is really something that I thought about the donut, because I thought, and I'm going to back up to our slide, like, what are our core responsibilities to keep ourselves safe and healthy? How can we use judgment and creativity for asking people to wear a mask? We can say, hey, thanks for wearing your mask, to every person who walks by us. We can say, I really like your mask. You look great in your mask. Okay, and try to reinforce them by making positive comments about their mask. We can punish and grimace people who don't wear a mask by saying, gee, you are putting all of us in danger. We can take pictures of them and put them up on our Twitter account and shame them. We can give people $5 every time we see someone wearing a mask. There are lots of things that we can do in this judgment and creativity to get people to wear a mask. However, honestly, wearing a mask, if it's not yourself, is something that you cannot make someone do. You cannot glue it on their heads. You cannot duct tape it there. You cannot, it is outside of your control if someone wears a mask or not. And I know Flip, you had talked about your family and the struggle that wearing a mask is going to be when things open up again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am happy that you phrased it as, is going to be, because really right now we're applying, or I'm thinking through this donut concept of how am I going to address this issue? So as you stated, my core responsibility is to keep my family safe and healthy and to attend to their well-being. What's out of my control is whether or not all of my family members are going to wear a mask and that they're going to wear it appropriately. So the concept of the donut sort has helped us frame what are our options as we move forward. So we have already started using some social stories to begin talking about people wearing masks. We are using modeling by seeing other people wearing masks and discussing why they are and how it's protecting them and us, and how we will need to do that as well. We've also considered things like finding a multiple array of different types of masks. So we could have dust masks, paper masks, masks that are sewn for us. If they're sewn, is there a particular fabric that would be attractive to my children to incentivize them wanting to wear the mask? So just really thinking about, okay, here's a huge problem, and there are lots of sensory issues with wearing a mask for many people. So what can we do to be creative and be most successful with our outcome? What we have been able to do is practice social distancing. We do take walks, and we've been able to have those conversations, again, reinforced by social stories, prepping, talking about when we go out and we see people, we need to stay away, stay at a distance, and making it fun at times. I've also relied on other supports, family and friends, or even paid supports. We have therapists and doctors that we can connect with and have connected with to ask them for different ideas on how we can approach wearing a mask or social distancing as we go forward. And one or a couple of the fun ways that we've approached even just the social distancing is by playing a hula hoop game, where we pretend that we have a hula hoop around us, and so do the other people. And so we have to stay at that distance, or even opening our arms and playing kind of like we're an airplane. And as long as our fingers don't touch theirs, we're good to go.
So you've used a lot of creativity in establishing social distance and addressing the mask. What worked and what didn't work with that? What did you find was really helpful, and what did you find was really difficult?
Sure. So again, we haven't been able to, we're still conceptualizing the mask. So we're still at that stage of seeing other people and talking through those.
And I like that you're not rushing it. I like that you're like, this is a process. It starts with talking about it.
And that really is, I think, the difficulty is realizing that, okay, although we realize an immediate need to do this, we have to be flexible and realizing it's not going to happen right now. That we need to take our time and be patient and work through the process, try different things, go back to your creativity circle if things aren't working, and try to readdress the situation in a different way. And just really being patient, knowing that it doesn't have to happen right now.
Well, and that sounds great. Those are great solutions. The other time when the donut comes very much in handy is in eating healthy food. And I had a conversation with a friend whose father is elderly and lives out of state. And he is on a medication where he is not allowed to have salt. If he has the salt, the medication doesn't work. He's elderly, he lives alone, and she's not able to get to him. And so when she talks to him on the phone, and I put this fake person here, she's saying, what are you eating? You know, are you having potato chips? You're not supposed to have potato chips. Are you having canned soup? You're not supposed to be having canned soup. That's not good for you. And so eating is something that families struggle with in so many ways. My own family struggled with it a great deal. I had one child who was a very picky eater. I had another child who would eat everything of his and everyone else's. And so eating was really a struggle in my own family, and sticking to a diet. So our core responsibility is to make sure our kids are not malnourished, okay? And that they're getting the diet that they need to keep them healthy. So what can we use judgment and creativity for to make sure that happens? Well, we can certainly keep only healthy foods in the house, things that they like. However, if you have kids that are of different ages and different dietary preferences, that can be a struggle, because everybody has to make the sacrifice for one child for a little while. You can, provide rewards and help kids make healthy choices of saying, sure, it's okay to have the Pop-Tart now if you want that to be your treat for the week, but you might want to save it so that you can have ice cream, or whatever. So there are lots of things like that. Basically, what's out of our responsibility is when that child is out of our sight and we don't have control over what's there. If he or she makes a healthy choice, that's out of our responsibility. So, and you had mentioned, Flip, that you guys have worked with this also.
Unlike the mask situation, we actually have applied the donut sort and other strategies to this particular situation. Not only does one of my children have limitations for food for different dietary reasons, medical reasons, so do I. So we really began with my daughter. It's been 10 years now. But she has some digestive medical conditions in which we needed to remove gluten or wheat and dairy products from her diet. And it was a real struggle because her diet was highly breaded and dairy. She was eating Pop-Tarts. She was eating mac and cheese. She was eating chicken nuggets, pizza, yogurt. And like you said, it was very limited to that diet. So when the doctors suggested that we remove these two food items, I panicked. That was all she was eating. But we were able to establish some creativity to the situation. We created shelves in our dry pantry as well as in the refrigerator that were just for her and her products.
Good idea.
We named them with her name so she knew, and so did everybody else in the household. And we tried a lot of different brands and recipes until we found the things that she really liked. Again, it was patience. It was knowing this isn't going to happen right now. Mistakes are going to happen, and that's okay, as long as we are moving forward and doing the best we can to help her out. 10 years later, everything in our household is mixed. We all have different dietary needs, but she knows what is hers. She knows what is not. We can even go out to restaurants and she orders for herself. She is able to say, no cheese, no bun, or, whatever she needs. And if they make a mistake and bring it to her, she knows and she's going to tell you.
And that is great. And she also has, unlike some of the other things that we try to get our kids to learn and ways that we get them to behave, she has a natural consequence. If she varies from her diet, she's going to have a physical reaction that's going to make her feel bad. So that's a very good natural consequence that we as parents don't have to get involved in, because Mother Nature has taken care of that one for us.
Absolutely, and the same for me. So I have definitely learned from my natural consequences of feeling really icky.
Another way that people set up the donut is sometimes in just a little worksheet. Doesn't look, it's the same format. It's not the same format, but it's the same things that we list. What are your core responsibilities? How can you use judgment and creativity? And what is not your responsibility? And as I said, this has just been such a handy tool for me when I talk to parents about things like having a child clean up their room, having a child stop swearing, having a child, do something that is very important to us as adults, which may not be so important to them in their world, and just doing a little donut sort on that and seeing like, okay, sometimes you can just try everything that you want to try and recognize the fact that this is outside of your donut. So, homework for the viewers is to try one situation where a problem behavior might occur and think, what are my core responsibilities? What and how can I use my judgment and creativity to try to make a positive outcome? And what is absolutely outside of your control no matter what? And think about the donut sort when you are just trying so hard to encourage a behavior to occur. And when can you just say, you know what? I've tried everything I can try. This is now outside of my donut. Thanks for watching. This has been fun. Thank you, Flip.
Thanks for having me, Molly.
Bye.
Bye.